Hello, everybody, and welcome back to From BA to Broadway. Guess who it is? It's me, your host, Brennan Stefanik. And I am here with hopped on the plane at LAX, Mr. Luc Clopton. Luke, what's going on, pal?
I'm so excited to be here. This is so cool.
I'm so thrilled to have you.
This is wonderful.
Luke, who are you and what do you do?
Oh my God. Who am I? I'm a performer. I'm a singer, actor I live in Los Angeles.
Heck yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
Luke, how did we meet?
We met, oh boy, how did we meet? We met doing Dogfight at Sierra Repertory Theater.
We sure did. What a
we
great
had a
time.
time.
But honestly, I remember those 2 months so fondly because I'm just like, it was just like we hung out so much in that place and just played board games. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah, there was nothing to do except to go to Applebee's.
And we were just talking about that last week. We were like, everyone has like their after show spot and like it's very frequently Applebee's. And I was like, we didn't really have a choice.
There was not. It was Applebee's or Jimmy John's.
Yeah. I don't even know what Jimmy John's is.
It's a sandwich shop. There was one by the Walmart.
You know what? Clearly didn't go there. Clearly was at Applebee's too much.
I will forever be mad though that the two servers that we had never came and saw the show.
We gave comp tickets to our servers at Applebee's. And they never came to see the show.
No, and it's like they could have said no, but they're like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." I was like,
we don't care. We don't care. We don't. Just like tell us.
But it was just like you were being nice to us.
Instead, you wasted our comp tickets. Shame on you.
That we were gonna use on so many people that were coming for us.
Shh, they don't need to know that. Oh my God. Okay, Luke, did you go to school for theater?
I did actually. Well, when I graduated high school, I went to a tiny little liberal arts college for a year, and then I had to drop out. And then it was great. And I kind of decided then and there that I really wanted to do theater. And then I went to a tiny little conservatory called PCPA in Santa Maria, California, and it was probably two of the best years of my life.
Amazing.
Honestly, learned and grew so much, and it's a professional program that also allows you to be on stage with your teachers and guest artists and stuff like that. So when I did a couple shows there, like the first show I did was Shakespeare in Love. And I got to understudy one of my teachers, which was absolutely
That's
amazing.
Crazy.
I know, it was so cool. It was like this weird kind of idolization moment where it's like, you're the cool teacher and I just get to watch you and you get to give me advice. Like that's so incredible.
Rocks.
It was amazing.
Do you have a degree via the 2-year program?
No.
Oh, okay. Understood.
I just have a little piece of paper that says, "Well done."
Pop off. It's just a picture of a thumbs up.
I mean, essentially, because I graduated in 2020, so I didn't even get. I didn't really even get the piece of paper. I got an email signature from the artistic director. Yeah.
Oh, God bless though. Honestly, I could have never gone to school in 2020. I don't know how people did it.
It was a rough time.
I just even like taking online summer courses, I was like, I'm bullshitting this to the heavens. I don't know how anyone would expect me to do real school.
Oh, 100%. I remember our second year project, they do a play and a musical for the second year students, and then, they cast them, and it's usually people who for people who never got to do a lot of the shows, like they get cast as leads. And so I was in the ensemble of Chicago. And then, once, COVID happened and it turned into a pre-recorded thing, I was like, so I'm going to do nothing.
What? Yeah.
And so me and my roommate, we just had bottles of wine that we would drink while we were rehearsing. And it was incredible.
Amazing.
Greatest rehearsal process ever.
I really love that for you. Oh my God. Jeez. What a time. What a wild time.
What a time, indeed.
But honestly, I feel prepared now for the next one. I'm like, okay, this time I know how to do it.
Right.
I know how to prep. I know my games and whatnot. And I don't know. I'm ready for a couple of months of just solitude.
Being forced to stay inside.
Yeah.
It's when you're forced to that it becomes the issue.
Yeah.
If it was a choice, we'd all be happy and thrilled.
I mean, you do have that choice, but unfortunately, whenever I choose it, it's frowned upon. I don't know. It's messed up.
I
Whatever.
know people are like, Brennan, are you okay? Brennan, what's wrong? Brennan,
I'm like, actually, I'm phenomenal. You don't even know.
I'm just playing Animal Crossing
Like,
on my Switch right now, guys. Leave me alone.
Literally. Oh, jeez. Anywho, folks, we're here to talk about LA. And you know what? This is the first time that I really don't have too much of a structure to the episode because I don't live there. I don't know anything about this. So this is all Luke right now. It was
So excited.
Why'd you choose LA? Why'd you choose to go there? Why'd you choose to go there?
Listen, okay, it wasn't on purpose.
Oh, for real?
No, it was.
Oh,
Well, it's a lot of it had to do with the fact that I mostly wanted to do TV film type stuff.
Understood.
And then just the first agent that I ever had was much more musical theater based.
Gotcha.
But West Coast musical theater.
Mhm.
So that's why I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna move to LA. It was actually after we did Dogfight that I finally made the decision to move down.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And you're thriving.
Uh-huh.
You're thriving as we are thriving, you know?
Thrive as best as you can.
As much as you can be.
Exactly.
Good times. Jeez. What's the theater scene like over there?
It's a lot smaller.
Mhm.
You know, I'll scroll through Playbill and I'll see all these, you know, ECCs or these open calls, and most of them are New York. That's just how it is. But you know, LA does have quite a few. There's a lot of you know, smaller niche theaters that do a lot of really like grungy, fun, you know, what we would call like really artistically fulfilling shows.
Amazing.
You know, they're not going to pay you a whole lot, but you get to be in this tiny little black box with 40 people staring at you as you get to like make the most swear heavy monologue you've ever done in your life. You know? There's really like, and I mean, there are definitely some big theaters there that are really, you have 5-Star, La Mirada, Musical Theater West, 3D, and those are really kind of like the big four until you get to San Diego, and then you have like the Globe and San Diego Musical Theater.
Gotcha.
But then there's also some smaller ones that do some really phenomenal productions. Like I went and I did Rent at this place called the Chance Theater.
I saw that show.
You did. You came and saw it.
It was phenomenal.
It was a lot of fun.
It really was so good. I was so proud of you. I really was. I was like, geez, oh my God. You killed it. You really killed it. It was amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Rock and roll. Do you see a lot of like, or maybe not a lot, but do you see EPAs and ECCs in person in LA?
Yeah. There was a couple last week, actually. So they do happen. Yeah. It's just not as often, but the nice thing is they're a lot smaller.
God, I was gonna say, does it feel like competitive? Is it like very packed or whatever? No,
typically not. I mean, I think the longest I've had to wait for one was like, I don't even think I've waited an hour.
Insane. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
holy moly.
Yeah, which is really nice.
I mean, it's kind of amazing, honestly. So, good for you. You are currently here for a callback. Was that audition in LA to start, or
no? That one was originally a self-tape.
Gotcha.
And then I sent them my self-tape, and then I think the next day they emailed me asking if I could come to New York, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I'm in. I'm going. I bought my ticket and I came here.
Gotcha. Are like, so for like those auditions, like those EPAs and ECCs, is there like a place in Los Angeles where those are happening? Is there like a hub for that, or is it more like scattered?
It's literally right down the street from where I live. It's in North Hollywood. They have the Equity Building there, and that's where like
amazing.
90 to like 95% of the open calls are going to be
rock and roll
for like the open calls. Unless you're like auditioning for a specific theater out there, obviously. Yeah, it's really not. It's not that it's not competitive. It's just much more. It's just the fact that it's less theater focused.
Yeah.
But phenomenal theater is still done there.
Love that.
Yeah.
And I guess also like everyone over there is like much more relaxed anyways, so I would imagine it would be a much easy flowing experience. That rocks.
Yeah, I have yet to have a bad time at one of the open calls.
That rocks.
Really nice. Yeah,
that really rocks.
You know, it's like usually because like a lot of people are flying from out of state to come and do these. So they're like, we're in LA, we're chilling, we're relaxing, we're having a good time. I'm like, come to my restaurant, I'll get you drunk, and then you can cast me. You know,
amazing. That's not a conflict of interest at all. Oh, what was I about to say? It was just right at the tip of my brain. Oh, you're EMC, right?
Mhm.
Okay, amazing. So
Yeah.
with the EPAs and stuff, you're getting on the EMC list and you're getting seen.
But even still, like the non-equity people that they're still getting seen like within an hour or two.
That rocks. That's really awesome. I love that. It's not really the same over here, let me tell you.
No, that's what you were talking about that earlier, just how you have to wait all day just to pray that you get seen.
That's exactly right. And let me tell you, it's not happening a lot these days. It's saturated, which is amazing. It's amazing that there's so many performers, but like unless you're in the union, and even then it's still so hard to get seen.
Well, I mean, that's the problem when equity just kind of began to accept anybody who had the money. It's just you now have this oversaturation of people running to join equity because they think it's what they're supposed to do.
And also, like, at the same time, it's nice that you have the union protection, you know? Like, it's a very double-edged sword, and I always go back and forth in my brain about it. But I mean, it's just kind of the world we live in over here. So
unfortunately,
you've been doing these callbacks in our studios over here. Like, do you notice a different? Like, what's your impression of the culture over here?
It's a lot more gray. You know, it's just it's like it's because there's so much, they don't have the time to be as cordial or
understood.
As it's because like they have that call that week, and then 2 days later they're going to be casting for a completely different show. So it's like they don't have the time to really like, they don't really. It seems like they don't really need to forge these great relationships with these actors that are coming in, because it's like, well, there's 50 more that are going to be coming in right after you.
Yeah.
Whereas with LA, it really is. I've auditioned for these casting. There's really kind of three main casting directors in LA, and I've auditioned for all of them multiple times, and they know me now. They're like, "Oh, hey, Luke, it's good to see you," which is really cool.
Who are they?
Lindsay Brooks, Tall Fox, and Michael Donovan.
Amazing. Are those casting agencies like specifically, or are they just kind of not freelancing, but on their own?
I know Lindsay Brooks has her agency.
Gotcha.
I can't remember the name of it right now. But Michael Donovan and Tall Fox, they strictly cast, and then Tall Fox also she's an actress as well.
Gotcha.
Which is really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they're very, very nice. I've yet to like have a negative experience.
That's very nice. That's a very nice and refreshing thing.
Yeah, I went in for Jersey Boys, and Lindsay sat there for 5 minutes and just helped me tweak my resume. She didn't have to.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I sang my song. She's like, that was wonderful. Can I give you some advice? Is that okay? And I was like, of course, please. I mean, she's like, you have this here on your resume. It needs to be here with this. And I was like, oh, thank you. I had no idea, and I appreciate that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So they're very, very, they're very kind people, and it really was like, you always hear, whenever you walk into a room, they want you to be good. They want you to do well. But you really do feel it once you can build a rapport with these people.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you get to experience that, and just also nice that that's out there.
Yeah.
So you said this is happening in North Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say that a lot of the theater people live in your specific area, or do you think it's kind of scattered?
I would say probably the most people live in Orange County.
Understood.
Because a lot of them, will work for Disney, which is if you can work with them, it's a great gig. I have a lot of friends who do the parades, or or just work at Disney. But because like those are where the main big theaters are, that's really where you want to. It's a good spot to station yourself, because your drive to like the open calls at 5 Star, it's going to be 20 minutes as opposed to me where it can take like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Gotcha. So, I mean, traveling seems like it's part of the gig as an LA actor,
Yep.
What does that look like for you?
It's pretty... if I have an open call, I just walk there, because
that's great.
It's phenomenal. But yeah, if I have an audition at one of these theaters, I have to set aside. I usually leave 2 hours in advance.
Okay.
And sometimes I barely make it.
Oof.
It's just yeah, living in LA, traffic's just one of those things. It's like you can be mad and angry about it, but you just got to.
It's not going to do you any good.
No, 100%.
That's just the life.
Right.
Jeez. I don't know if I could do that. I do think there's a part of me that like I would like to spend some time in LA. Like I would love to have a gig there. I would love to like do like a cute little co-star or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like for a week or two. But like I feel like I'm just so like out of my mind manic that I couldn't do the commuting, but I know I would have to, but I don't know.
I mean, that's a difference between like, I mean, that's what's so nice about New York is the public transport and walking around. And, you know, at least for me being here for the little, excuse me, the little time that I have been sitting in traffic, you're just stuck.
Yeah.
Whereas like if it takes me 30 minutes to get somewhere here, I'm like, well, I'm doing stuff still. I'm walking, I'm in the subway, I can be on my phone, blah, 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 whatever.
What's your go-to in the car activity? Your traffic activity? Other than, driving. You're like, I like to drive my car.
Sit there and make sure I'm going where I'm supposed to.
Amazing.
I mean, you know, I love, as anybody does, I love having my own little concerts in the car.
Of course.
And, you know, it's like I'm here's my big Broadway debut, and this is the song I'm gonna.
This is your off-Broadway theater,
right?
It's your car. It's your car.
I mean, technically, isn't anything that's not Broadway off-Broadway?
No,
really?
Correct. I don't know the logistics off the top of my head, and we will be doing an episode about it, so I'm not going to go into detail. But it is purely about the number of seats.
No way. That's crazy. I did not know that.
Don't quote me 100% because once again, I will do the research prior to the real episode. But
I mean, it's going to be on here, so I don't have to quote you. You're quoting yourself.
Can you quote yourself if you're just talking for the first time? I don't think so. As long as I don't say it again, I'm not quoting myself.
Well, you got a point there. You got me there.
You should see the look on your face. I believe it is entirely based on the house size, how many seats are in there. So Broadway theaters are not necessary. I think technically theaters not in New York can quote unquote be a Broadway theater.
Really?
And theaters outside of New York can definitely be off Broadway theaters.
Fascinating.
And then off Broadway, et cetera, until you are in your car. It might just be 4 offs out of the gate, but who's to say?
I have 4 seats in my car. Is like that a good enough?
Yeah, I mean it's more than one, so I think you're golden.
I need to figure out how many offs that is, so I can say officially.
Listen,
off.
I'll let you know as soon as I do the research and
I am
someone
so
official tells me that information. I love that. I love that for you. So yeah, you sit in your car a lot.
Oh my God, do I?
Couldn't be me. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do miss driving. I love to drive, and that is one of the caveats about living here is that I don't get that freedom, but also I don't want to drive in this city.
No,
so
it's awful.
It's terrifying.
I don't understand why anybody wants to.
I mean, the thing about you have to be an aggressive driver here because you also have to be an aggressive walker here.
True.
Everyone is just aggressive. And that's just how you need to be because everyone is aggressive and they're also late.
I want that on a t-shirt.
I mean, that's what it is.
You have to be an aggressive driver. You have to be an aggressive walker. Everyone's just aggressive.
And you need to look out for pedestrians everywhere. You need to look out for bikes everywhere because nobody's walking or biking where they're supposed to be.
Absolutely not, because that would be too easy.
I mean, that would be too organized.
Right.
We can't have that. We're in a rush. Jeez. Do y'all have like classes over there? Like, is there a big like theater scene for classes?
It's more so individual classes. Right now I'm taking Meisner classes at the Baron Brown Studio, and I love it. Amazing. It's phenomenal. I think that good teaching and good technique will work for any medium that you're doing. Writing, directing, acting on stage, acting on screen. It's just obviously learning those different levels. And I mean, there's tons of dance classes out there. Amazing. There's, a bunch of voice coaches. And a lot of these theaters will also do master classes with different people. Like they'll bring in,
great.
Yeah, because there's tons of Broadway performers who got their start in LA. So, anytime they're in town, they'll come back and it's like, we're doing a master class with this person this week. Come and sign up. Or I remember especially during COVID, I think it was 3D was just having a bunch of online classes. That was actually how I found my voice teacher at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That rocks.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Is that like your little clapper?
That's just so when I go back and edit, I can identify where I need to cut from. But the thing is, I also never do it. I never like actively search. I'm just listening in order, and I just cut as I go.
That's hilarious.
Do you feel like attending school in California prepared you better to be an actor in California?
Yes. I think a lot of that was simply because of the kinds of people that they brought in, or the teachers that were there, had lived in California or performed in California. And I mean, obviously, some of them had performed in New York, and they brought people who had performed in New York, back over. But I think really when it comes to teaching in school, the best teachers are the people you meet that are doing those things.
Yeah.
It's like my amazing girlfriend went to AMDA.
Mm-hmm.
And so she has a very, she's lived in LA for like the last 5-6 years. It's really easy for her. She understands it really well.
Mm-hmm.
One of her really good friends was on tour for a while, now living in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been very different for him.
Gotcha.
And so I think, LA and New York are incredibly different cities.
Oh, for sure.
And
for
I
sure.
think even the teachings are incredibly different.
Mm-hmm.
The way that you have to walk into a room, the way that you have to interact with people is very, very different. And I think,
tell me about that.
In my experience, LA is very much a city of, well, what can this person do for me?
Gotcha.
Whether that's you're working a job and you're talking to someone who's like, yeah, I produce, I direct. It's like, oh, okay, well, now let me pursue that relationship simply because of those facts. Whereas like New York, it tends to feel a little bit more genuine.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's, again, there's too many people here to waste, to have somebody wasting your time with that.
Understood.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Again, that's just what it seems to me.
For sure. I mean, I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I do think, I mean, everyone wants to make connections, yes. But once again, especially in these audition studios and whatnot, like there's just so many people and things have to move so quickly that like it's not as easy, so you kind of got to find your ways outside of that.
Yeah.
To like feel like you're in the community. I would say it's a feeling. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, my God.
Oh yeah. Okay, I take it back then.
Yeah,
I'm not sorry.
Good.
Are there any like unspoken things that you have learned along the way that you don't think is possible to learn in school, or you don't think that is something that they are teaching about like the actor's life in LA?
That's a really, this is something that I think I've really kind of started to learn recently. It's, again, you hear this in school, you hear it in your classes all the time. It's when you walk into a room, know that they want you to be what they're looking for, which is true. But the second you give them any kind of negativity, attitude, they're also, just as much as they're looking for you to be the one that they want, they're also looking for a reason to cross you off the list.
Yeah.
And so you have to read your breakdowns all the way through, because there are no excuses. Traffic is not, it's just, you cannot bring excuses. And I did not realize how intense that was. Simply because people don't have time.
Yeah.
They don't have time to waste on that. It's like they might like you as a person, but if you're like, hey, I'm going to be 45 minutes late to my call because of traffic, you live in LA, you need to know that that's going to be a thing. If the trains are down here, it's like it's so much easier just to walk or to, try and get to your spot easier. But it's, know that casting directors want you to succeed, but at the same time, if you give them a reason not to, you're making their job just as easy.
Yeah.
Making their job difficult is a good thing. Making sure that, because a lot of casting directors, especially because LA is so much smaller, they know the same people. They like bringing in the same people because they know them. they trust them, they know that they're talented, that they can carry a show, X, Y, or Z. So you make their job difficult by going in there as prepared as you can possibly be.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. I've never really thought about that, but that's so valid. And I think that's probably very valid here too. But I don't know. Once again, there's just so many people. I can't imagine being on the other side of that table and having to absorb all of that information.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be because I have a little chihuahua brain. That could be the reason. I get easily distracted. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. Would you say that there is a lot of crossover between the theater people and the film people of LA?
Not so much.
No? Okay.
No. I think usually they live in two very different sects. You will definitely find people who do both.
Mm-hmm.
I found plenty of people who do both. Like the guy that I played Roger in The Rent I was in, he does a lot of TV film stuff. That's kind of where his career trajectory is going. But in the same vein, most of the people in that show are strictly musical theater. It depends. There's a little bit of crossover, but especially because it's just not as much as you would probably think.
Gotcha. Now, would you say in terms of, I would assume that there's way more film auditions than there are theater auditions. I feel like is that a bad assumption?
Ish. It's been very difficult since the strike.
Gotcha.
This is something my agent had a talk with me about, and one of my really good friends, he's a very accomplished screen performer. He's led his own series and everything, and things have even been really slow for him.
Mm-hmm.
Really slow, been really tough. It really just, it's kind of the same thing that happened after the pandemic. It's once these companies started opening up again, it's like, well, they're going to just cast those people that they know right away.
Gotcha.
They don't have time for auditions. Like, they have to get projects started and going. And it's kind of what you're seeing now. And it's really sad because it feels like these production companies are almost, punishing isn't the right word, but they are,
like, they're taking the easy road.
Yeah, absolutely. It's they are casting who they know because it's comfortable and easy, and especially because they have to make money super quick because they lost so much money during the strike that things are. It's just it's slow and it's gonna pick up. It always. I was gonna
say, does it look like it will probably change in the future? Hopefully, in the near future.
Yeah, I think originally people were hoping like March was gonna be the month that it really picked up, but now it's probably looking like it's not gonna be till the end of the year.
Gotcha.
So.
I would say even here, like, background work has been very tough to come by.
Really?
Yeah. Especially immediately after the strike, I was like, oh my God, this is going to ramp up. I'm going to be able to make a consistent living off of this. And it just did not happen.
Did you, because you were doing the Gilded Age, right?
Yeah, I do the Gilded Age. But that season 3 did get picked up, but that hasn't started filming yet at all. So that's not happening. But I don't know. They do all of like the procedural, like, Law and Orders and stuff here, and so I was expecting like a lot of that, and it was few and far between for sure. But as I would say, as of lately, I have been starting to get more availability checks and stuff. So that's been nice. I've done a couple of gigs in the past couple of weeks, which has been fun. But yeah, it was a very dry period for sure when I was not expecting it. I really thought I was gonna be able to just kind of coast on that, but did not happen.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of us kind of felt, was that as soon as the strike was over, it's immediately back to work, and that wasn't how it was.
Yeah. I'm hoping with the nicer weather, hopefully there's a lot of stuff that is happening now, but like a lot of it is exterior, and that was a problem too, where it was like the one availability check I would get was like when it was still 30 degrees outside, and they're like, we're going to be outside, and I was like,
and it's a summer scene, you're in shorts.
Literally. I'm like, I don't think this is a good one for me. I'm gonna have to pass on that. Literally from the months of February to like, I don't know. Honestly, last month, I was anything that said exterior, I would be like, oops, sorry, not available.
Why would you?
It's terrible. It's really terrible. I've done it, I don't know, once or twice, and I was miserable the whole time. So I was like, I'm just not putting myself through that again.
Fair.
Not worth it. Not worth it. But I mean, I don't know. Background work here is a nice gig, I will say, especially like the Law and Orders and stuff, because filming is like an hour. It's so good. It's really nice.
Damn, I might come here for background.
I mean, they jump from scene to scene so frequently that it's very two things and you're done. It's great.
I did one background job and it was a 16-hour day.
No.
It was brutal.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I will say, like, Gilded Age and stuff, that takes a lot longer because of all of the costumes and the transportation
I can
and
only
stuff.
imagine.
But like the stuff that you're showing up in your own clothes and just walking down the sidewalk, it's chef's kiss.
Beautiful.
It's really nice. But yeah, that's LA Film and Theater. Circling back to that, crazy. That's interesting that there isn't so much overlap. I don't think I would have expected that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely some, but I think because people are so kind of, LA, because LA is known as like a place where TV film happens. If you go there for TV film, that is what you focus on. I think most people that end up in LA for theater are either there because it's closer to home, because that's where they went to school, because, friends are there, or, kind of whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's usually not the place that you fully pick for just theater.
Gotcha.
It's more so it becomes the best option at the time.
Understood.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to live in New York?
Oh, of course.
Gotcha.
Of course. Absolutely. I mean, I've definitely thought about it. I can't do the cold. I can't.
Interesting.
I love being warm.
Yeah.
And that's why I love California until it gets like past 90 degrees. And I'm like, this is terrible.
Ooh.
So
have you ever been in a place that has actual winter? Like, have you ever lived?
Define winter.
I would say below, I would say 32 degrees or below.
Well, I mean, when I was on tour last year, we were mostly East Coast, so I had like long johns, 2 pairs of socks, jeans, 2 jackets, and I was like, I'm not getting cold.
Weak.
I am.
You could never make it here.
I am so weak, and I am unafraid to admit it.
Understood. I also come from New England too, so I'm like, this is our lives. Like, this is how it always is. But I have been getting a little bit chillier nowadays. I don't know if they're making it colder outside or what. But I'm not a fan.
It's like, yeah, screw that Brennan guy. We're just going to make it colder.
I think it's a prank. I think it's a Truman Show situation.
Bro, you've been so pranked. I'm a camera. That's a camera. We're all cameras.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Kutcher, Ashton, come out.
No.
Oh, wait, maybe not.
Ooh, yeah, topical. That was crazy. I just found that out last week.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was so strange.
That felt like a very clear situation that nobody needed to choose to speak up about, friend or not.
No, and it was also just weird that they like decided to put themselves in front of like their fence.
Yeah.
And apologize. I'm like, we all know you guys make a lot of money. Nobody's fooled. Thinking that you're in this nice little 1-story house in the middle of Wyoming.
Anywho, do you feel like you've acclimated well to LA? Like, how long would you say it took you, like, to get used to it, to get used to the life and feel like some normalcy in that?
I would say it took a good couple months. You have to be so careful when dealing with people, because people will never reveal their intentions until it's too late.
Gotcha.
And they are very like kind and warm, but it's usually because they want something. So you have to figure out very early on if what they want is something that you're willing to give. If you're like, I need to, back out of here right now.
Yeah.
So it took, because I try to be a really kind and friendly person, and I realized very quickly that people will either view that as, something they can take advantage of, or as me sending them signals of whatever, especially because, I work in West Hollywood. People will, people will want what they want, and they'll do what they can to get it.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful, and you have to very much know your morals and stick to them.
I feel like there's also like a stigma that like people in LA are less intelligent too. Did that make you feel more at home when you went there?
Yeah, I was it very much. I was like, wow, I'm like one of the smartest guys here. This is crazy.
Oh, that's not what I meant by that, but nice.
Well, I mean, to me, I was smart.
Womp womp. My friend, you've been working on a little project.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, I was very fortunate. I shot my own short last year called D-List.
Mhm.
It's the story of, it's a story that I hope everybody can relate to because it's mostly about the struggle of an actor.
Mhm.
A lot of things that I had to deal with because when I was first auditioning, after school, I couldn't afford to move to LA. I was with my family in Sacramento, but if I got an audition, I'm driving. So I would drive 6 hours, sleep in my car that night, wake up, do my audition, drive home, and usually have work the next day.
Mhm.
So it encompasses a lot of that. Yeah, it was a joy to get. It was the first thing, I really ever sat down and dedicated myself to writing, which was really, really cool. The director that I got to work with, Paul James, he's somebody that I've known for years now. And when I was like, hey, he's a writer. So I was like, I just wanted his opinion on it. And I was like, I want your opinion on this. And he's like, all right. Or he's like, I'll direct and produce this for you. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I won't charge you either. And it was phenomenal because I had so many people just want to do things to help me out. And it was one of, the most humbling and gratifying experiences I think I've ever had because you have these people who are immensely talented, who could go out and charge hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for what they do. And I'm like, hey, can you help me out? And they drop everything. Just sure. It was seriously such a gift. Like my girlfriend Andrea was a part of it, which was really fun because, we finally got to kind of perform again together.
Yeah.
And I got my acting coach, Amy Linden, to be a part of it. And I remember I texted her, I was like, hey, so it's like I have this acting coach part. I'd love for you to be a part of it. And then the topic of like, rate came up and she's like, well, how much are you charging other people? I was like, oh, they're doing it for me for free. She's like, okay, I'll do it for free too. And I was like, are you serious? Really?
Oh.
So for the people in my life to step up in that way was wonderful. And I'm hoping that this summer we got our first rough cut, I want to say a month ago.
Whoa.
Which was really, really cool. We have an original song.
Amazing.
That, I can't remember the name of the guy who wrote it, but he was, it's such a fun song. It's like it's very like up-tempo Beatles kind of beach tune to it, it's fun.
Amazing.
It was really fun,
Amazing.
Just to be able to do your own stuff. And that's something that, I guess would be a piece of advice I'd give to anybody. You're doing it right now. You have found something within you have decided to create your own work. You're like, you know what? This is something I'm passionate about. This is something that I want to do. So I'm going to go out and do it.
Yeah.
And, props to you, kudos to you, because it's incredibly hard.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, it's the same way I felt when we wrapped filming. It's just like, it's just such this like this was mine.
It's really neat when you start to see the rewards of it coming in. It's just, I don't know, it's very gratifying.
Yeah. And you have your friends and people that you care about reaching out, be like, this is amazing, good for you, and people wanting to be on the show. And you asked me and I was like, absolutely, I'd love to be on. Finding that community can be really tough, but it's
for sure
so gratifying when you have that.
I'm glad that you have that over there too.
Yeah.
Because you haven't been there for too long. So that's really awesome that you've found that. And also, you're a very awesome person to be around. So of course you attract good people.
It's all right. I'll put down the knife now, Brennan. You can be honest.
Thank you. Jeez. No, for real, man. Of course, it's really awesome that all these people came out to support you, but also that's just the kind of person that you are. So
thank you.
Yeah, man. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
What would you like the future of this film to be?
Oh, well, it's probably going to be about 15, 16 minutes. So we're going to.
You're good. You
okay. Sorry.
It's still going.
Okay. We're going to put it in some festivals, see kind of what happens there. But honestly, I would love to. I'm working on writing a full-length script of it because I think there's a lot more there's a lot more that I want
Mm-hmm.
to tell, and a lot more experiences that I've had since I wrote it that I think can be really, really beneficial for a lot of really beneficial for a lot of people, because, you know, you can look at it as just like an actor's struggle, but everybody has things that they have dealt with, and you know, sometimes not in the healthiest way, but struggles that we've all had to go through. I think that's something that's very universal.
Of course.
We've all struggled, and I think my hope is that D-List shows it in a really raw kind of way, that is unapologetic. And I think, you know, being able to do the feature, I would just be able to kind of dive in more into that.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Especially, like, I mean, going into show business, into, like, you know, it's going to be hard and whatnot,
Right.
but especially when you're moving to these big places and stuff, it's very easy to glamorize that.
Oh yeah.
And it's not until you're, like, really in the thick of it, once, like, the honeymoon phase has kind of died down, that you really see the grit that goes into it, and all of that, the hard stuff, the really hard stuff. So that, I mean, it's also cool that you're going to put that information out there in ways that have not been broadcast so publicly before, you know? Right. So it's very important, and it's really neat that you're doing that.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
That.
I mean, we're in the business of, like, just letting people know what's up.
Exactly.
You know, we're pulling back the curtains. We're showing it in all of its glory for what it really is. And it's important, especially for those who aren't even in this business, you know, because I think a lot of people look at people like us and they're like, oh, these freeloaders, these freeloaders, these quote unquote artists that are out there not doing anything, taking all of our tax dollars in ways I don't even understand, because I sure don't have any extra tax dollars. But yeah, it's
they just changed the tax brackets in California, so I owed taxes for the first time in my life.
That's terrible.
It was awful. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a nice old tax return, and I was like, why do I owe $64?
I don't know why, but, like, every year I'm like, ugh. You know what? Things are going to turn around for me once the tax returns come back, because I'm finally going to be able to pay things off and, like, just start fresh. And it's never happened. It has never not once happened. So I don't know why I'm always under this impression, but I always get the notice. Even if I do get something, it's like, you got $4 and this banana that will expire by the time it gets to you.
Still better than some residual checks. So,
okay.
You know.
Well, that's not exactly what I had in mind. So I guess I got to buckle down a little bit. And I guess I will really need that banana, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I never learned my lesson that, but someday I'll be.
You're an optimist. What can you say?
Yeah, optimist or really poor. I don't know.
Really poor, keeping your fingers crossed.
Potato.
Like, anytime you see the direct deposit, you're like, please be more than it was supposed to be. Please make a mistake.
Literally every week, I work the same amount of hours, but I'm like, I wonder if it's going to be more this week.
It's almost like this fun little surprise. Yeah, you know what the answer is going to be.
Yeah, no. Just setting myself up for disappointment, but whatever. Yeah. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's really depressing. That's not true. That's not true.
Maybe we should clap after that one.
We will. No. Oh, wow.
But that. You know, it's like it really is those moments when you are just so down on your luck and hurting so bad that you really realize that this is what you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, those days where I have, like, you know, nothing in my bank account or like work was awful, or it's like, you know, I'm worried about where I'm going to be. Whatever it is, it's just, and you sit there and you're like, yeah, but I wouldn't want to do anything else.
No.
I would still want to be.
I just couldn't. I couldn't do that. I couldn't sit in an office, you know?
Absolutely not.
I couldn't be a scientist or a doctor. That's way too important to be put in my hands. Are you joking? Absolutely not.
If I ever walk into a doctor's office and I see you, I'm turning right
Terrifying. Terrifying.
Like, absolutely not.
Like, I was thinking about the other day, like, people that perform surgeries, and like, you have to be so precise. Like, I get anxious cooking. I do, because I'm like, everything needs to be the exact right amount or I'm going to ruin it. Like, holding a little scalpel, like, terrifying. Also, just being focused on that for so long, absolutely not.
No.
I will say one of my favorite memories just ever was I had a procedure done a couple years ago, and it was back in Rhode Island. So it was like at a very small hospital, and I had like gone back from New York to get it, and the doctor in our pre-meeting or whatever was like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm an actor." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm an actor." He's like, "Oh my God, have you ever seen Hamilton?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love Hamilton." He was like, "Oh my God, I watched it on Disney Plus. I saw it on the tour. It was so good."
Oh no!
And we had like a brief conversation about it. And the day of the surgery came, right? And I go in. They give me my little sleepy juice or whatever, and they're wheeling me into the operation room. And I'm like just starting to lose it. Like I'm just starting to conk out a little bit. And they move me onto the operating table. And they're like, "Okay, what do you want for music?" And I'm out of it. And the doctor's like, "Don't worry, I got this." Literally, as I am fading out of consciousness, I hear bum, 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 bum. And then I am out. I am literally... And I didn't remember that like until way later, like in life. Like it was like several months, and then I heard that sound, and it was like, like it was a very much That's So Raven moment when I just like, I was like, "Oh my God, this legitimately happened to me, and I cannot believe it."
Like if things went bad, that would have been the last thing you ever heard.
And you know what? The anesthesia did wear off a little too quickly, so I did come to at some part in Act 2. And I was like, "What's going on?" And they were like, "Oh, you're not supposed to be awake. Good night." You know?
Oh man,
but
that's amazing.
Yeah, truly. And if I was in that room, I would definitely need some music that I care about. But I couldn't perform surgery while bopping out to this kind of stuff. No. Actually, I don't know. Could be kind of fun, but
you met like that whole chair scene, but instead it's you like lifting the tray.
Oh my
with
God!
all the surgical tools on
Literally, all of the nurses are like, "Oh wow, insane, absolutely insane." It could have happened. We don't know,
and we never will.
We never will. Actually,
you know what? That's my truth. That happened. As soon the world turned, they're lifting up the tray table.
This is where there's like a cut scene to them all doing that and like giggling. They're like, "This is so iconic. Should we put this on TikTok?"
Oh my God! Wait, the guy.
Literally. Imagine if I woke up and that's what was happening. It's like, it's like, "Really slay, guys, but what's up?"
I'm kind of opened up here,
like,
and
your technique is phenomenal, but what's going on?
Oh, that's amazing.
And
gosh,
this is why we do art.
That's why we do art. Oh, that's beautiful. I need an episode of something where they do that. That would just...
Well, that's our next short film, baby.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's going to be called Operating Room.
Operating Room.
Love it. My friend, I don't know. I don't really think I have anything else that I'm wondering about.
Oh, fantastic.
Do you have any questions for me?
Okay, we'll cut. No.
No, that was a joke anyways.
No, I don't. I was like, do I have any questions for you? How do you keep such white teeth?
How do I keep such white teeth?
They can't.
Fascinating.
They can't see it. But your smile is radiating.
I really appreciate that. I have been feeling actually that my teeth have not been super white as of late. So really? I did put a whitening strip on last night.
Oh my God. See, there it is.
That might be why it's so particularly radiant at this moment. But when I got my braces off way back in the day, my teeth were very yellow. And then I had white spots wherever the braces were. So I did start using white strips, but they took like immediately. Like they took to my teeth immediately. And so I walked into, what was it, junior year of high school. I was glowing.
I was like, God, bow before me.
Looking back, I still looked like a huge dweeb, but boy, was that smile brilliant. Oh, wow. That's the tip, folks. There you go. Oh, good times. Good times. Yeah, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Move to New York. That's all I have to say. That's my piece of the matter. But like, whatever you're feeling, go for it. We're here to support you in all of those dreams. And you can support us by finding us on Patreon. Wow. Folks, general disclaimer, as we always do, we will not be gatekeeping any vital information on the Patreon. That is for strictly pure bonus content, silly stories, all that jazz. There might even be some new options coming in the future that are in the works. Stay tuned on that. And yeah, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Luke, where can folks find you if you want to be found?
Oh my gosh, wow, I was not prepared for my Instagram is LUC_CLOP10. You can find me there, and I'll post all my updates about D-List or any projects that I'm in. Yeah, everything will be
amazing.
There.
Folks, definitely check it out and follow this film because it's going to be super lit. Literally everything that you've been posting so far, I'm like, this looks so wonderful and like good quality, but B, I'm like, look at my friend doing the thing.
Well, thank you.
I'm so proud of you for sure. So yeah, folks, tune into that. Go check it out. As always, you can find us on most social media platforms at BA2Broadway. I've also been realizing when I listen back to all the stuff that I just have such the New England accent going on that I'm like, BA to Broadway. Like I never say the word "to" clearly whatsoever. Just BA to Broadway.
It's like I've been Googling BA Broadway for months now and I can find nothing.
They're like, what is "tuh"? What does "tuh" mean? Anywho, folks, thank you so much. And until next week, I'm Brennan.
I'm Luke.
Bye. From BA to Broadway is created, produced, and edited by Brennan Stefanik, music by Dylan Kaufman, and cover art by Jordan Vongsithi.